Well, it's NAB 2018 and I'm at the Blackmagic stand. This is one of 3 videos that we're doing here, so don't forget to check out the other 2. And I'm talking with Stuart here. Hi, Stuart.
Hi, how you doing, John?
Yeah, not too bad. We're going to be looking at this, which is Resolve 15, just announced with some major updates. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, Resolve 15 is one of those products that every year we seem to just keep on putting more and more in there, and that creates challenges and problems for us because we want to make sure that we don't overcomplicate things. Huge amounts of work being done on the UI to ensure that everything that we put into there, is still easily accessible and intuitive. I think that there are a couple of really key things with DaVinci Resolve 15. We've talked very extensively about the editing functionality of Resolve in the last sort of 18 months, 2 years. But I think that as that's progressed, there's been further questions about, well, what else can we add in there to really merge some of those workflows? I think typically one of the challenges that a lot of people have is that they don't want to keep coming out of a project into out of one application and go into another application and pass that around a series of applications and then effectively bringing it all back into one central place. And that's fine if you're a facility and maybe you've got someone who's dedicated to a particular role, but if you're just a single guy like me or you who kind of just wants to do a project in their entirety, you kind of want to stay within a familiar environment. So that was kind of the way we looked at it, and we thought, well, wouldn't it be great if you could be in a situation where you could mark that player head across a clip and you could step through each of those pages and those tabs across the bottom of Resolve and ultimately retain that position within that timeline. So that's exactly what we've done. I mean, if you go from the edit page to the color page, you'll see that we're in exactly the same place again. So if I make an adjustment or an amendment and I go back to the edit, I've not moved anywhere on that timeline. So, well, what's new? So I suppose the main one, the biggie, is the fact that we've now included Fusion inside DaVinci Resolve 15. So it's the full working version of Fusion, which is ported across, which means that you've got a high-end compositor now built into DaVinci Resolve, which in its most simplistic terms is great titles. You can now do 3D titles. You can now do paint functions, so you can go in and make touch-ups. You can do clone tools and effectively clone certain elements of an image if you want to mask certain areas. But then it's kind of its most expanded view. You've then got all this particle work, in advanced 3D workflows where you can bring in 3D objects, you can position things, you can, you can create external light sources, you can remodel and relight things. So it really is kind of a learning platform that once you really get your head stuck into it, can take you to levels way beyond you ever imagined. So what I'm just going to quickly show you very quickly is just some basics, I suppose. This is a typical Resolve timeline that we have. I've got a clip here that I've kind of layered on top a graphic, and I've also got under there as well the video footage. If I actually highlight both of these two and I right click and I go up to New Fusion Clip, what will happen now is that we'll consolidate that into a single clip. Now when I go across into Fusion, what you'll find now is that is showing me that in a nodal graph. So I've got my media 1 and my media in 2, which is effectively my 2 sources, and that is showing that there now as an overlay. Now, once I'm in here now, this is where the magic can really start, because I could rescale one or the other, I could rotate, I could move within a 3D space. But in its most simple view, if I go up to my effects library and I open up my sort of tools up here, what you'll see is a very extensive number of tools, ranging from blurs, ranging from basic composites, all the way through to things like lookup tables, particles. Now particles, this is the thing that I suppose Fusion has been really well known for, the ability to map particles to certain shapes and certain images, to create things like smoke and to create things like flares and things like that, and light sources. But again, if I go up and say look at paint, I could drop a paint node in there, and if I wanted to, I could go and grab a brush, and I could start to paint onto that image. Now, that appears very crude, what I've shown you there, but in fact what that appears is almost like a vector, so I could now start to adjust that. I could now create that as like a highlight spot, where I could take an area and highlight it to show maybe an external light coming in there, or I could go in there and touch up things like skin and blemishes, etc. So very, very basic what I've just shown you. That's kind of the starting point, like Lego blocks to an extent. But when you look at some of the nodal graphs that are being used in high-end feature films, you're seeing many, 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 many different layers within that nodal graph. Kind of moving across into Fairlight, we've got some nice new functions within Fairlight where we've added things like ADR as well. So closed captioning in terms of being able to add subtitling on there. What you've also got now is you've got the function to actually sort of play your footage back, and as it's playing back, you've now got the scrolling timeline at the base, so you can see where you are both visually and in terms of your audio positioning. There's somewhere in the region of around about 200 to 300 new features, of which I probably can't remember, and it would take us forever to kind of go through. But I think all in all, we've got a system here where now we feel that allows you to be incredibly creative, whether it be from an editing side, color correction side, professional audio side, or compositing side, and it's $299. And I think that what I would recommend to a lot of people is get in there, start playing with it, and there's plenty of information online there as well to learn more and more about it.
Stuart, that's great. And again, if people want to have a play on this, how can they get hold of it? Yeah,
so there is a downloadable version of this on our website, which is free of charge. It has a couple of features that you don't get in the full version, but 90%, 95% of what you have is within that downloadable free version. My suggestion is go to the website, blackmagicdesign.com, download a copy of that. You'll also find we have a number of authorized trainers all around Europe as well that are putting on training courses where you can learn, again, more. YouTube's a great resource as well to try and find out more information about the product. But any questions, come and find us at a trade show. Check out our website, call us up. We're always happy to help.
Stuart, thank you very much. Well, there you go, the new amazing DaVinci 15. Go and download it from their website. In case you didn't know, I'll put the link on screen. And check out the other two videos we've done here, one on a new A10, one on, of course, the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Don't forget to check that out. For more from NAB 2018, have a look at our website, KITPLUS.com.